Other effects continued. Cateractogenic effects. The required dose for formation of cataracts in humans is probably on order of several hundreds of rads of acute dose for X-rays in the diagnostic energy range. The fibers which comprise the lens of the eye are specialized to transmit light damage to these, and particularly to the developing of immature cells which give rise to them, can result in cataracts. Optically clear protective lenses of 0.25 millimeters lead equivalents that reduce personnel eye radiation exposure by 85 to 90%. During cardiac catheterization, interventional radiology, and angiographic procedures, surgical, fluoroscopic operation, pacemaker insertion, and similar procedures, eye protection is commercially available. These protective lenses should be utilized during fluoroscopy. Lifespan shortening. In a number of animal experiments, radiation has demonstrated a lifespan shortening effect. The mechanism involved in radiation lifespan shortening are uncertain. Irradiated animals appear to die from the same diseases as the non-irradiated controls, but at an earlier age. How much of the total effect is due to premature aging and how much to an increased incidence of radiation-induced damage is still unresolved and quite controversial in the scientific community. Genetic effects. The precursor cells of mature gametes, or the mature gametes themselves, are susceptible to damage to the nucleus of the cell, also known as nuclear damage, which causes genetic mutations, from the external influences such as radiation. When this occurs in those gametes which are utilized in conception, the altered genetic information is reproduced and passed on to all of the cells of the offspring. Most geneticists agree that the greatest preponderance of genetic mutations are harmful. By virtue of their damaging effects, they can be gradually eliminated from the population through natural selection. The more severe a defect produced by a given mutation, the more rapidly it will be eliminated, while the reverse is true for mildly damaging mutations, which may require a great many generations before they disappear. Animal experimentation remains our chief source of information concerning the genetic effects of radiation. As a result of extensive experimentation, certain generalizations may be made. There is no indication of a threshold dose for the genetic effects of radiation, meaning no dose below which genetic damage does not occur. The degree of mutational damage which results from radiation exposure seems to be dose rate dependent. In other words, a certain dose given is less effective in producing damage if it's given in smaller doses over a long period of time rather than all at once. Radiation and other mutagenic factors have always been present on Earth. It is reasonable to expect that all mutations have been expressed in the past, so that man-made radiation would only add to the natural incidence of previously expressed mutations rather than create new ones. In general, mutations tend to be deleterious, meaning they can produce undesirable effects in future generations. Therefore, the goal is clear: keep the radiation exposure of the gonads to a minimum.